Hi, good evening. Welcome to this evening's Folk and Roots concert featuring Hazel Askew, Amy Hollinrake, and me, Russ Chandler. Said Bertie to his girl last night, your people don't like me. They'd raise their hats and kiss me if they knew my pedigree. Pa was a railway porter, he fought at Waterloo. Ma was a fisherman's daughter, that's why I'm fishing for you. I've been a baker and an undertaker and a cocktail shaker in Peru. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been a waiter and I used to cater to an alligator in the zoo. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been an MA and a BA and some say I'm NUG. Mug, I can trace my pedigree to 2003. As the cookhouse slavey to the old Swiss Navy, I have served the gravy to the crew. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. Said Bertie, all my family have laboured long and hard. You'll find their portraits all around the walls of Scotland Yard. The job I've got now is tidy. I work for Jones and Son. I only go in on Good Friday, putting crosses on hot cross buns. Well, I've been a doorman and I've been a Mormon and a very warm one. If you tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been the ringer and the Highland flinger and the tenor singer with the flute. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been a horse thief and a fish thief, and one time I pinched a whale. Half my life I've been on bail and the other half in jail. Well, I've fixed a good, I've been a black sheep herder and I've done a murder, one or two. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. Well, I've been connected to the well-respected, I've been disinfected button too. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been the flyer and the occupier of a Black Maria with a crew. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. I've been to Oxford and to Cambridge and I've been to Borstal too. I've roamed this world all over, from a Wigan down to Crewe. Well, I've been a Thatcher and a trouser patcher and the e-wig catcher up the queue. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. Tell your father, tell your mother, I'm good enough for you. Thank you. So that was an old 1930s dance hall song written by my hero, Leslie Saroni. You'll be delighted to know I'm not going to talk a lot. This is a folk song from the Napoleonic Wars. And like the best folk songs, its message hasn't really dated much. You Englishmen of each degree, a moment listen unto me. By day to day you all will see the poor are frowned upon by degree. To please you all is my intent, so listen to these lines I pen. By them you'll know who never can do without the labouring man. In former times you all know well, the poor man cheerful used to go quite clean and neat about his life, with his children, with his wife, and each day's labour it was claimed, a fair day's wages he was paid. Yet now to live he hardly can, may God protect the labouring man. There is one thing we must confess, when England finds they're in a mess and has to face the fearless foe, it's to the working man they go to fight their battles, understand, either on sea or on the land. Deny the truth we never can, they look towards the labouring man. Some to soldiers they will go, and jolly sailors we all know, to defend their country day and night, for old England bravely fight. Yet when they do return again, they're looked upon with great disdain, and in distress throughout the land you will behold the labouring man. When Bonaparte and Nelson too, and Wellington and Waterloo were fighting both by land and sea, the poor man gained those victories. Their hearts are turned in honour's gold, the soldiers and the sailors bold. But every battle, understand, was conquered by the labouring man. The labouring man will turn the deed, dig the soil, plant the wheat, defend his country when afar, and fear no battle or a scar. Yet when it's looked upon as thieves by those who bide at home at ease, and every day throughout the land they try to starve the labouring man. But if the wars should rise again, and England be in want of men, they'll have to scour the country round to find the lads who turned the ground, and to some foreign land they'll go to fight and dub the daring foe. Do what they will, do what they can, they can't do without the labouring man. They will do what they can, they can't do without the labouring man. Thank you. So it is a bit difficult doing these online gigs without any kind of feedback, but as a banjo player, that may not be a bad thing. And it is great to be able to do gigs naked from the waist down without getting another asbo. This is a musical song, but it's very much entered the folk tradition. It was originally sang by Harry Champion, and but as far as I'm concerned, I have this song from the singing of Mr. John Cain of Ganshill. You'll know it. Some pals and I in a public house playing dominoes one night, when all of a sudden in the potman runs with his face all chalky white. What's up, said Brown, have you seen a ghost? Have you seen your Aunt Mariah? Aunt Mariah be buggered, says he, the bleeding pub's on fire. On fire, said Brown, what a spot of luck, come along with me, shouts he. Down in the cellar, if the fire ain't there, we'll have a fair old spree. So we all went down along with good old Brown, the booze we could not miss. And we hadn't been there 10 minutes or more before we were like this. And there was Brown, upside down, licking up the whiskey from the floor. Booze, booze, the firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let 'em in till it's all mopped up, somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. Old Johnson made for the port wine tub, gave it just a few hard knocks. Then he starts taking off his pantaloons, likewise his shoes and socks. Old Ard says, Brown, if you want to wash your feet, we got a tub of 4 ale here. Don't wash your trotters in the port wine, Jack, when we've got some old stale beer. So there was Brown, upside down, licking up the whiskey from the floor. Booze, booze, the firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let 'em in till it's all mopped up, somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. And then there was a mighty crash, half the bloody roof gave way. But they was drowned by a fireman's hose, but still we were all gay. We found some sacks and some old tin tacks and shoved ourselves inside. And we sat there getting bleary-eyed drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. And there was Brown, upside down, whipping up the liquid from the floor. A booze, booze, the firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let 'em in till it's all mopped up, somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. At last the firemen got inside, they found us all dead drunk. But like true heroes they stood their ground, they did not do a bunk. They saw the booze upon the floor and gave a sudden yell. They took their helmets off and then upon their knees they fell. At last, the fireman cried, at last we know the news. Come on, us lads all cried, come on, let's have a booze. And there was Brown, upside down, licking up the whiskey from the floor. Booze, booze, the fireman cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let 'em in till it's all mopped up, somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. Come on everybody, and there was Brown, upside down, licking up the whiskey from the floor. Booze, booze, the fireman cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let 'em in till it's all mopped up, somebody shouted McIntyre. McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. So I'll give you a tune. There's a little bit of sort of English ragtime written by a man called Ollie Oakley about 100 years ago. And I've just found out he wrote it on a train journey from London to Rugby, where he was giving a lesson. And he called it Rugby Parade. Rugby Parade. So this is a song that I found on an old 78. I couldn't really hear the words too well, so I went up to the British Library and found them. And it's, I thought it was still so relevant and so timeless that I took the liberty of adding another verse just to bring it up to date. So see what you think. One other point to know about this song is donor is old-fashioned London slang for girlfriend. They are not getting into a muddle with their kebabs. This is live in the East End of London, and on the 78, I should say, it was sung by Pen Cause. But Pen Cause went on to much greater fame as Charles Penrose, the laughing policeman. If you want to see the bustle of our East End way of life, 'tis a matter very easy, soon you're in the busy strife. Here you are, Sir Mile End Road, sir, come up here along with me. Over the bridge and cross the city, off you rattle speedily. Hear the bustle's jovial banter with the cabmen on the way. Come on, old and best, pull up there. Ain't you had a fair all day? Up through Fenchurch Street he takes you, and before long you get down amid the scenes you've come to witness in the wild east of town. Here we see the busy throng, how they push each other along, some with jovial laugh and song, some with woe quite undone. Who shall ever stay this tide? To the end it will abide. Riches and poverty side by side, and that's life in the East End of London. See the coster with his barrow loudly shouting, bye, bye, bye. Fresh and large you want some marrow, sells the lot and feels blooming dry. Goes into a pub close handy, but he knows the one to choose, and stays until he's chucked out, singing raughty songs and full of booze. Then on Sunday he and others take their donors for a drive, and to seat behind one Gigi they can manage 25. Up to Epping, good old Epping, and late that night come home again. No one knows which is his donor, and each one shouts a different strain. When the bloom is on the rye, hi-tiddly, hi-ti-hi, hi-ti-hi-hi, drink up, boys, and never say die. Never is the fun done. Gypsy maid must harmonise with two lovely fine black eyes. Happy-go-lucky the Coster boys, and that's life in the East End of London. Mark the Jew there, old clothes selling, swears the coat's a perfect love. Fits you where it touches, don't it? So help me, fits you like a glove. See the loafing, drunken ruffian children clinging to his knee. Come home, Daddy, we're so hungry. Come back home to Mother, please. See the Chickaliri joker does the dipping, knows the game. See the See the chickalary joker, does the dipping nose the game? See the outcast on the table, once so sure, now I'll get there. See the chickalary joker, does the dipping nose the game? See the outcast on the pavement, once so pure, now lost to shame. See the heartless wealthy sweater, fat and sleek, and knows his book, and upon his toil-worn victim let us cast a pitying look. Stitch, 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 and poverty, every night and day must she to feed her starving children three. Never is the work done. Stitch, 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 while bread you crave, doomed to die a sweater's slave. Her only rest is a pauper's grave, and that's life in the East End of London. So this is the verse I added. Walk from Brick Lane to Shoreditch High Street, squint your eyes and try to see the barista in the coffee outlet. Can I get a chai latte? Commutes for hours from distant suburbs, or drowning in a flood of wealth, the tide of glass and steel and concrete that blazes light but eats itself. See the cleaner in the hotel, dreams of home across the sea. See the broker in his mug, can sell you authenticity. See the Costa's pub still standing, though lunch is a week of the living wage, and the endless stream of data mongers reach out and scrum and quietly rage. Still we see the busy throng, still they dug but no place to belong. Still the market, the bus and the lost one, still the sweaters strutting. Who shall ever stay this tide? To the end it will abide. Riches and poverty side by side, and that's life in the East End of London. That's life in the East End of London. So I'm going to do something which I don't normally do. Now I'm going to play you another tune. But normally, although I play kind of old-time banjo, I don't play old-time banjo songs because I don't come from the Appalachians. But this is very much a cover, straight cover of not a traditional old-timey song, which I have from the playing of a wonderful Kentucky banjo player called Clifton Hicks. It's got a great YouTube channel. I really recommend you check it out. So this is a traditional song. It's called Going Up North. I'm going up north, gonna throw my breeches off, dancing my long tail all night, honey, dancing my long tail, singing whoa me, whoa my, oh what's gonna become of me, poor boy, oh what's gonna become of me. My woman won't write me, my baby won't write to me. She won't send me no letter, she won't write me no line. She knows how to make a man feel bad. singing woe me, woe my. I can't get no letter from my home poor boy. What's gonna become of me? By sheriff and deputy, riding down the road after me, poor boy, riding down the road after me. Now, honey, if they catch me, they'll hang me if they can. They'll hang them an innocent man, poor boy, hang them an innocent man. Singing, whoa me, whoa my, I can't get no letter from my home, poor boy. What's gonna become of me? Sheriff on my back, sweet potatoes in my sack. I'll make it to my shanty if I can, poor boy. Make it to my shanty if I can. Singing, whoa me, whoa my, what's gonna become of me, poor boy? Can't get no letter from my home. Singing, whoa me, whoa my, what's gonna become of me, poor boy? What's gonna become of me? Thank you. Got my last number now. But we'd just like to take a moment to say thank you so much to Graham and everybody at Folk and Roots. Putting on concerts like this as a promoter, I know, can be very demoralizing doing these online gigs. And I'm really, really grateful to Folk and Roots for putting this on. Up after me, I'm not sure who's next, but it'll be either the wonderful Emily Askew, or Hazel Askew, I'm sorry, or the equally wonderful Amy Hollinrake. So this is my last number. Thank you so much for listening so politely and attentively. Apart from you are going to go blind. This is a folk song from that bewhiskered and brambly old folk tradition source singer Alan Price, and it's a song from one of my favorite records, which is also the soundtrack album to one of my favorite movies, Oh Lucky Man. And it's you'll know the tune because it's the old Salvation Army tune, What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Alan Price put new words to it, and I think with the way things are at the moment, this is definitely my song for 2020. Thanks very much. See you soon. Stay safe. Everybody's going through changes. No one knows what's going on. Everybody changes places, but the world still carries on. Love must always change to sorrow. Everyone must play the game. It's here today and gone tomorrow. but the world goes on the same. Love must always change to sorrow. Everyone must play the game. It's here today and gone tomorrow, but the world goes on the same. Love must always change to sorrow, and everyone must play the game. It's here today and gone tomorrow, but the world goes on the same. Love must always change to sorrow, and everyone must play the game. It's here today and gone tomorrow, but the world goes on the same. Thank you. Oh, apparently Amy hasn't arrived yet. Time for another quick one if you fancy. That's put me on the spot. All right. What shall I do then? I'll do you another Clifton Hicks number. Reading Graham's message here. I got a dog and his name was Blue. Oh, come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Me and old Blue went hunting one day. We caught a possum in a hollow bay. Oh, that's how you knew he was a good old dog. Oh, come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Me and old Blue went hunting again. We treat a possum in a hollow stain. I took that possum and put it in my bag. Said, wait here, Blue, till I get back. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Old Blue, he died one day. I dug his grave with a silver spade. Every day I call his name. Oh, come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Now I had a cat and his name was Smudge. from the sofa, he would not budge. He held him off and he crunched it up. Went back on the sofa and he threw up. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. Come on, Blue, you good dog, you. How's that, mate? So, yeah.
All right. I think I'm in. Hi, how is everyone? Hi to who's watching. Thanks for joining me and Folk and Roots tonight, and all the other artists that have just been on and that are coming up tonight. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's strange doing this, going on live. It's what's really strange is just seeing my own face, and not actually seeing anyone else's. So I'm just going to try and kind of avoid looking into my own eyes the whole way through. Yeah, so I'm Amy Hollinrake, and I am going to perform some songs for you today. It's been a long time. My last gig was actually with Folk and Roots at the Harrison in, when was it? March. So yeah, 5 months ago, so which is pretty crazy. So it's great to be performing again in some capacity. So I'm gonna perform some songs. I'm gonna do some originals and a few traditional songs as well tonight. This first song I'm gonna perform is a song off an album, well not an album, an EP I recorded last year called From My Mother's Mouth. You can listen to it on Spotify, and this is a song from that called Swallow's Tune. It was written about, I was reading a lot of Emily Dickinson poetry at the time, and I found one of her poems really inspiring that was called Hope's a Thing with Feathers, that is quite famous. It's one of her quite famous ones, and yeah, it just kind of came out of some of the words from that and ended up becoming the song that I'm gonna perform now. So yeah, I'm gonna start with Swallow's Tune. never stopping, never stopping, never stopping at all. In the months of May, meant for morning, lessen the sound of sorrow. May it all be for rebirth, hearing the tune of the swallow, and how she passes on to me, and oh, on to me, and oh, tune of the swallow, how she passes on to me, and oh, on to me, and oh, tune of the swallow. How she passes on to me, and oh, on to me, and oh, tune of the swallow. How she passes on to me, and oh, on to me, and oh, tune of the swallow. Wow, that was yeah, that was Swallow's tune. It's fun to play that again. I normally play with a band as well, and that one I actually perform as a trio. So I perform with obviously myself, and this is my instrument, which is the Appalachian Dulcimer, or Mountain Dulcimer, you sometimes hear it called, and it's an old American folk instrument. Most of the people familiar with what kind of folkies watching this probably know it and are familiar with it. Yeah, Gene Ritchie was a really famous player of it, from Kentucky, and yeah, the southern kind of Appalachian area of America is where it was kind of really famous, kind of popularized and used, and kind of came out of that area of the world. So yeah, so I normally perform that song with myself on the dulcimer, and then Evie, my violinist, who sings as well, and Ben, who plays the keys, and the synths, and some of which I've used tonight. I'm kind of playing around with using some electronics for the first time, and using some kind of drone and synth sounds to work with, which has been, yeah, another interesting exploration. It's fun. It's this whole like weird time of not you know, gigging, you've kind of having all this time to explore and find new ways, so it's yeah, it feels really nice to finally perform and show, you know, all the kind of the things you've been working on, kind of get out there again. So yeah, so that was Swallow's tune. I hope you enjoyed it. I saw someone just said you made me cry, so I hope that's in a good way. I don't want to make anyone cry badly, so I hope that's a nice cry. I hope it's a cathartic cry. I feel like a lot of my set's sad. I always seem to do sad things, or maybe not sad, maybe just kind of, I don't know, hopefully not like, not sad, a nice sad, if there isn't a nice kind of sad. I think that would be what I would be. So yeah, it's a Sunday though, so it's a good day to cry if you want to cry. So anyway, so that's Swallow's Tune. Like I say, I normally perform with a band, but tonight I'm doing everything solo, so it's fun to kind of try out some new stuff, and also it means I can sing some more traditional songs as well and some more folk stuff, which is really fun. So this next song I'm going to do is a traditional. It's another one. The version I'm singing is the American version. A lot of the folk music, I mean, I look at both English and also a lot of American folk music as well, and obviously I play the dulcimer. And this one was sung, I found it off an album called, something like the Blue Ridge Mountains. I don't know, someone probably knows the name of it more than I do, but it was a great album with just loads of field recordings, and there's this one version of this song which is called Awake Awake, and it was sung by an old man called Lee Monroe Presnell, and he has just like the most amazing voice. You know, he's quite old, but his voice yet is still, it's so powerful. At the same time though, because, you know, it kind of crackles and wavers and has all these imperfections, and yeah, just that beautiful kind of rawness that type of American folk singing has, I think, which is always a bit different to English traditional singers. So his version of Awake Awake really resonated with me, and I just thought it was beautiful and I'd love to sing it. There are English versions of it, and there's similar, I think it's called, what is it, I've got it, I wrote it down earlier because I knew I'd forget. Oh, Drowsy Sleeper, that's one of the ones that these English versions are called. And it's also in the same family as Silver Dagger, which is another famous ballad. They're kind of these tune families where you'll find lots of different songs all kind of related. So it's in part of that family, and you'll notice they talk about a dagger later on in one of the verses. So before I kind of carry on talking, I will sing for you Awake Awake. Actually, before I sing, I need to retune. This is the thing with the dulcimer. You have to retune. Unlike a guitar, where obviously, you know, you've got all the frets, chromatic, dulcimers you don't, so you have to retune. So. Okay. All right, here we go. This is Awake Awake. Wake awake, my old true lover. Wake, arise, it's almost day. And how can you bear those thoughts of sleeping? And your true love going away. Oh, who's that knocking at my window? Pray you tell to me. It's me, your old true lover. Awake, arise, come pity me. Go, love, go and ask your father. For this night, if you could be my bride, And if he says no, so return and tell me. It'll be the last time I bother thee, but I can't go home and ask my father. He is on his bed of rest, and by his side there lies a weapon to kill the one that I love best. And I will go home to some white river, spend my days, my months and years, and I would eat anything but the green growing willow, and drink from my flowing tears. Come back, my old true lover. Stay a little while with me, and I will forsake my dear old mother to go along by the side of thee. Yeah, I totally recommend going and listening to the Lee Monroe Presnell version of that, and it's just like a beautiful song really. It's quite, again, it's kind of sad, and like so many of those songs, it's kind of so tainted with so much longing and lonesomeness and emptiness, and I think that's why I didn't really want to play much on the dulcimer with it, because I want I didn't want to kind of interrupt that lonesomeness. I wanted to keep the sparseness of it, and I think that's why what I love a lot about some of the American folk music. Obviously, when you get into bluegrass stuff, it's hugely virtuosic and there's loads of stuff going on, but there's also one part of it that is just really sparse and really lonesome, and I think a lot of people talk about that kind of mimics the almost like the area that music came out of. You think about that part in America, it's just huge, and there's communities in the South where there's so much space between each place, and some of those rural living, you can feel like you're really isolated. So anyways, so that was nice. I actually just saw an American dulcimer player just say that was nice. Aaron O'Rourke, who is an incredible dulcimer player, which I think he's listening. I swear his name just popped up, so if he is, that's pretty cool, because he's in America. I think he's in America right now. I know he's from there. I'm assuming he's still there. I don't think anyone can move really that much right now, so he's a fantastic dulcimer player, and I actually had an opportunity to learn a bit from him, and He's great. So if you're into the dulcimer, you should totally check him out as well. And maybe one day I could join him in America. So I'm going to quickly grab my tuner, so I want to double check, and then I'm going to get on with the next song. So the convenience of being in your own home, everything is everywhere. Probably noticing my book collection on display. This is I've not I've not conveniently placed any. I thought I was kind of, because I've got my folk song in England book here, and I kind of thought, oh, does it look, shall I take it down, because maybe does it look a bit like I've put it on display? But FYI, I haven't. I am genuinely reading it, so it's not just for show. All right. Alright, cool. So, this next one I'm going to play is from my first EP, which I recorded about 4 years ago now, which seems crazy. And yeah, it's still available on Bandcamp if anyone's interested, or I go to my website and find it there. I've made it into a CD and also did a vinyl of it, so if there's anyone out there who prefers listening to things on vinyls, I do have it on a vinyl format, which was really cool because I love vinyls. So yeah, do check that out if you're interested on Bandcamp or on my website. And this is one of the songs from that. So without further ado, this is called You Came By. I'm taking less risks now. This isn't the kind of inspiring love I can't leave now. But I'd go if you asked me to. Many times now I aspired to have someone I desired. And if only I'd have run. You came by like my haunting. You said, where was my longing? Please bring him to me. Take me into your warmth now, but I am never burned by your hand. Keep it on me, and I want to see how long I can stand with your name now. You smile at the sound as you cut out my tongue. Nothing to say now, but I'd go if you asked me. You came by like my haunting. You said, where was my longing? And where was my sympathy? Well, please bring him to me. And you came by like my haunting. Where was my, please bring him to me. I'm broke, I've awoken. I'm broke, I've awoken. I'm broke, I've awoken. But you feels funny when you play songs that you wrote so long ago. Not what, 4 years ago? Maybe 5 years ago? It was funny when you kind of, you listen to the lyrics, it's like a little snapshot of your mind back then. It's always, I think it's a funny thing when you write songs, because you kind of end up, yeah, it's like little pictures, but you know, little words of your thoughts of that time. It's kind of like having a little memory box of everything. So yeah, that was You Came By. So the next one I'm going to perform to you, I'm going to put the dulcimer down for a minute, and I'm going to do another ballad. So when I was kind of getting into folk music and singing traditional music, I really got interested particularly in looking at representation of women in ballads and thinking about kind of, you know, these stories of female voices in balladry, because often women don't have the best of times in ballads. I mean, there are some, obviously, but there is quite an overwhelming amount of ballads that kind of display, you know, quite a lot of hardship for women. There's either murder ballads, which you know, arguably, you know, there's a lot of misogyny and violence against women, and some of it's pretty extreme. And you know, there's a lot of talk about lost love, women pining, you know, women being, you know, warning each other of kind of men and you know, the wrongdoings that were happening, and all these kind of things, and issues. And I just found it a really interesting topic, and I think it's something that, especially now in a kind of contemporary, you know, setting, and I guess it's something that's good to talk about really, and start to yeah, maybe start a bit of a, you know, a little bit of a discussion in folk music, or thinking about, you know, what songs do you want to sing, why do you want to sing them, why, you know, a lot, you know, rather than just singing a song or a ballad for the sake of it because it's a nice melody, but maybe thinking about, oh, what are the words about, you know, and do they like fit with me, do they sit well with me or not, or how do I feel singing it? So yeah, I guess it was that kind of like opened up of this whole world of research into, yeah, women in ballads really. And I know I'm not the first to do it, and someone who I love is Peggy Seeger, is an amazing kind of trailblazer for that type of, you know, critical thinking in balladry, and she's pretty radical woman, and yeah, pretty cool. So she did a whole album called what is it, Penelope Isn't Waiting Anymore, I think, and basically every single song on there, she's either kind of commenting on it, or she's rewritten it and redefined it to yeah, show another perspective about the women's situation at the time. So yeah, that's really cool. So the one I'm going to sing now is a ballad called Oxford Girl, and there's many English and American versions of this, and the version I'm singing was actually sung by Almeda Riddle, who's a singer from America, from Arkansas. And yeah, I found her version again during this time when I was researching a lot of American music, and yeah, just thought it was great, and I wanted to learn the ballad, and I wanted to do my own version of it. So that's what I'm gonna perform for you now. This is Oxford Girl. And actually, I'll just say, just in regards to talking about women's representation, this one is a murdered ballad for those who don't know. So it's pretty gruesome, you know, and yeah, as all murder ballads are, they're a little bit gory. But I think it's a good thing to listen to and think about. So here we go. I'm singing using some electronics again. So I'm going to get that on, and I'm going to go for it. Okay. And I dark and darling eyes, and I promised I would marry her, and me she nothing denied, and we walked along, we talked along until we came to a rough ground. Then I picked up a hedgewood stick, and I knocked that fair maid down, and she fell upon her bended knee. Oh, mercy, she did cry. Willie did, don't murder me here, for I'm not prepared to die. And he picked her up by her lily white hand, and he swung her round and round. He took her down to the riverside, and he threw her into and I fell in love with an Oxford girl, with dark and darling eyes, and I promised I would marry her, and me she nothing denied. Yeah, it's the first time I've performed that on my own, and I did a version of that a while ago with a full band, and it kind of took quite a experimental performance. Oh, I just saw a friend of mine, Natalie. Hi, Natalie and Steve. Oh, that's nice, you guys. Another two great folk musicians and other musicians. Every musician, in fact, they play everything. That's lovely. They're watching. Yeah. I performed a whole version of that with a full band last year, which again is actually there's a version of that on Spotify on my last EP, From My Mother's Mouth. But yeah, that was the first time I've kind of performed it using some electronics, so interesting. I actually all the drone was just different hums. I recorded myself humming again and again, and then kind of laid it over it, and then just sung against loads of different versions of my own voice. So it was fun to experiment with that. So the next one I'm going to perform, how am I doing for time? Okay, we're all right. I've got about 3 more. So this next song is one I was really sad actually. So I wrote it, not sad again, but I wrote it just before, well, it was at the beginning of the year I wrote it, and I rehearsed my last band rehearsal in March, just before we went into lockdown. And I had this new song prepared, and we did it, and we rehearsed it together, and we were all raring to go, and I had all these gigs booked. And then obviously, you know, COVID happened, and suddenly I remember the week of, do you remember when everyone else was in lockdown and the UK wasn't, and it was just like everyone was really unsure what was happening. And then I remember just emails every day. Suddenly there was another cancelled, and yeah, really weird time. But what was sad, amongst all the other things that were awful at that time, was I never got to play this song. So I luckily can play it on my own with the dulcimer, and I also arranged it with my keyboardist for our whole band as well. And we recorded a version that's on YouTube where there's, you know, we all recorded it separately in our homes during lockdown, and then I put the video together, and you can hear the whole thing on YouTube, so have a little look. And the song is called Blue Handkerchief, which I thought was a very original name at the beginning, until I googled it and I found out that it's also a popular World War II Russian song, apparently, called Blue Handkerchief. So yeah, if you do YouTube it, I'm not the wartime singer or the weird Russian propaganda. That's not me. So that was a weird finding. So I don't know if I should change the name, but no. So anyways, I'm going to play you the non-Russian version of Blue Handkerchief. Alright. I shook it out, I took it out on you. I shook it out, I took it out on you. I shook it out, I took it out on. I shook it out, I took it out on. I shook it out, I took it out on. I shook it out, I took it out, and I wanted you. I wanted you. I wanted you inside. Consume me inside. Consume me. What's the matter? You used to have color, you saw my mind was wandered in blue. The knows nothing was stolen from your lips. I was consumed by his likeness to you. And don't spite me for thinking too late. I hadn't seen your face for some time. All I had was a token of past love. He had one that mirrored mine. And now I'm dressed in scarlet red. Go ask my mother, she'll say I'm better dead. And I wanted you, I wanted you, I wanted you. Inside consume me, 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 inside consume me. I shook it out. I shook it out. I shook it out. I shook it out, shook it out, shook it out. So yeah, that was Blue Handkerchief, and please go and watch the full band version on YouTube as well. You just type in Amy Hollinrake Blue Handkerchief, or on my Facebook page or on my Instagram, you'll find it, and have a little listen. And yeah, and it's not the wartime one, as I said, not the Russian one. So yeah, and if anyone, I'm sorry, I'll have to do a shameless plug, but if anyone does like what they heard this evening, please follow me on Instagram, please like my Facebook page. You know, it means a lot for artists, I think, especially at the moment with things, you know, the live music industry being kind of, you know, it's just being, you know, in a difficult time right now from everything. Online stuff and stuff like this actually is great, and you know, I'm really grateful and thankful for Broken Roots for having me. And yeah, it means a lot for artists if you can show any online support by, you know, watching their stuff, listening to it, you know, liking their page, following it. So it always, I kind of cringe when I say these things, but it's one of the, you know, you have to do it. So I would love any support if anybody's enjoyed what they've heard tonight. And I also have some CDs and vinyls still for sale on Bandcamp. So if anyone really wants to put it on the record player or have a listen in their car, then do also check that out. So I've got, I think I've got a little bit of time. I'm gonna do two more. I'm gonna do two more, but they're not too long. So this next one I'm gonna do is a bit of fun, actually. Throughout lockdown, I just had some fun, like learning and listening to just some old songs that I really liked. So not traditional folk music, just, you know, kind of songs I used to listen to and I used to love when I was younger. And then I thought, you know, I never sing, you know, like not really pop stuff, but I never sing old tunes that I used to like. And I was listening to Fleetwood Mac's Rumours album. I was just like, oh my god, I love this album so much, it's so great. And I always love Stevie Nicks, she's got like, you know, the amazing voice. And I thought it'd be really fun just to do a little Fleetwood Mac cover. So I am going to play that because I just had so much fun with it, and you know, a little bit that it's a song that people know, so hopefully you can sing along at home. So yeah, I'm going to play Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Alright, here we go. Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. Listen carefully to the sound of loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. The stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had and what you lost. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Women only love you when they're playing. Players, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clear, you know, you will know. Now here you go again, you say your crystal vision. I keep those visions to myself. It's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams. And do you have any dreams you'd like to sell? Of loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. The stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had and what you lost. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Women only love you when they're playing. Players, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clear, you know. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clear, you know, you will know. Such a fun song. I on the final verse, I don't know if anyone noticed, some hardcore Fleetwood Mac fans probably did. I always mess up the chorus word, and the final verse, the final chorus, I got it right finally, but the first two I mixed up. So the lyrics are, what is it? Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Women, they will come and they will go. I keep saying women will only love you. Well, yeah, thunder only happens when it's raining. Women only love you when they're playing, and then players, they will come. I don't know, but I keep mixing it up every time, so it's because I've got like female representation on the brain. I'm always, you know, so I don't know. But the last time it was right, so hopefully no one noticed. And if they did, then I'm very sorry to all the hardcore Mac fans. But yeah, I saw my friend Steve. Thanks, Steve. Steve's a big Fleetwood Mac fan. He's a great guitarist as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of water and then I'm gonna sing my last song for you. So this last one I'm gonna sing is a traditional ballad again. And I thought I would end on it and sing it a cappella and without anything else. It's just something just to finish off with. It's one of the first ballads I ever learned, I think, and it's another one, I guess, with women kind of at the focus. It's called Fair and Tender Ladies, so I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. It's classified as, or it can be thought of as, what's kind of called a warning song, which often older women in the community will be, you know, singing to younger generations, and it kind of warns them of false lovers or false men, you know, who would do them wrong. Yeah, I guess you could kind of say it's kind of feminist in some way for that, which is, yeah, quite interesting really. And I am singing a version as sung by Jean Ritchie. There's a lot of other versions floating around, obviously. English versions are quite different in terms of the melody, but I just really love the melody to Jean Ritchie's one. So I'm going to sing that one for you to finish off tonight. So I'm just going to pitch on here. Okay. Alright, this is Fair and Tender Ladies. Come all you fair and tender ladies, take a warning how you court young men. They're like a bright star on a cloudy morning. First they'll appear and then they're gone, and they'll tell to you some sweet loving story, and he can let to you that love is true. Straight away they'll go, and they'll court another, and that is the love they have for you. And I wish that I was a little sparrow, that I had wings and I could fly, and I'd fly away to my false true lover's calling. And as he talked, I'd sit and cry. But I am not no little sparrow. I haven't got any wings and I can't fly. So I'll sit right here in my grief and my sorrow and watch my troubles by and by. Thank you. So it feels funny saying thank you to my own face. But thank you to all those who have watched this evening. I've been Amy Hollinrake, and yeah, please look me up and come to gigs. I actually do have crazy. I actually have one confirmed gig coming up in October. On the 3rd of October, I will be performing at King's Place in King's Cross in London. This will be a physical gig, so it will be socially distanced. I think at the moment there's max 50 capacity, so not a huge amount, but then they're also live streaming it as well, so you'll be able to watch from your home if you can't get into the venue. So yes, that will be on my website. But more, on check me out on Facebook, it's on there, and it will be on Instagram, and on the King's Place website. And it's part of an event about Emily Dickinson, because the first song I played for you tonight was Swallow's Tune, which was written about her poems. So I've been asked to perform that song, and then I've been working on some more of her work, and putting some more of her work into music, and creating some new songs and compositions out of her poetry. So yeah, it should be a really cool event. I'll be performing with myself and the dulcimer, and as my trio with my violinist and keys player. So it will be a bit of a bigger setup. So yeah, if anyone is interested, please do come along and see people in the flesh again, actually perform to an audience. But it's been so nice to perform tonight, and I hope to see some of your faces then and in the future. So keep well, everyone, and thank you so much, and thanks to Folk and Roots for having me, and enjoy the next act. Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Hiya. One morn in May, when fields were gay, serene and pleasant was the weather. Oh, I spied a lass, and a very bonny lass. She was swooping the dew from among the heather, down the moor. In among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather. Oh, I spied a lass, and a very bonny lass. She was swooping the dew from among the heather, down the moor. Barefoot was she, and comely dressed, and on her head neither had nor feather, with her skirt tops neatly around her waist, as she tripped through the blooming heather, down the moor. In among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather, with her skirt tops neatly around her waist, as she tripped through the blooming heather, down the moor. So I stepped up to this fair young maid. Come tell me, love, what brings you hither? Oh, she answered me, down by the bonny burn's side, I am herding all my ewes together, down the moor. In among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather. Oh, she answered me, down by the bonny burn's side, I am holding all my ewes together, down the moor. So I courted her that livelong day, my heart as light as any feather. Oh, until the beams of the red setting sun came slanting down in among the heather, down the moor. In among the heather, o'er the moor, through the heather. down the moor. Oh, she says, kind sir, I must away, for my ewes are straying from each other. But I must look for to part from you, as the bonny wee lambs are to part their mothers down the moor. In among the heather o'er the moor, through the heather. Oh, but I must look for to part from you, as the bonny wee lambs are to part their mothers down the moor. So up she got, and away she ran. Her name or place I did not gather, but if I was king I would make her my queen, that bonny wee lass I met among the heather down the moor. In among the heather o'er the moor, through the heather. But if I was king I would make her my queen, that bonny wee lass I met among the heather down the moor. Hiya. Thank you. That was a song called Down the Moor, a traditional one which has become a bit of a favourite of mine. I don't get to sing it very often, and I learned that quite a long time ago actually from a recording of Peter Bellamy. But I love how it's the story is quite a common tale in folk songs, but there's just a couple of lines in it that are just so beautifully put that it's makes it one of my favourites. So it's lovely to be here. I don't usually do many gigs on my own, even in the real world, and I haven't done many gigs online, so this is all new. Mainly just seeing my face, which is a bit odd, but I think there are a few of you there, so hi and thanks for coming. Ooh. So I'll carry on with a song I wrote a bit earlier in the year. Before coronavirus and the lockdown, in what seems like a different age. And it's a song that came about as well, I'm a Londoner and I grew up here, and I've always been a little bit fascinated by the history of London, not so much in a nostalgic way, but I love the idea that it was once maybe a bit greener and a bit wilder. And I find it really interesting how this kind of past is hinted at in all the place names. So in South London, there was a great forest for a long time, and that's kind of preserved in names like Forest Hill and Norwood. And I grew up kind of near Waterloo, and there used to be marshland for a very long time, and that's preserved in the names like Upper Marsh and Lower Marsh. And I also find it really interesting that there used to be lots of rivers, which are still there, but they're kind of hidden under our feet. And I got a little bit geeky about this and read quite a lot about it at one point. And it kind of came out in this song where I wondered what would it be like if the rivers just came back for a day, and they came back not kind of in their weakest form, but in their kind of most strong and beautiful and greenest way. So that's how this song came about, and it's called River Came Back. One day the river came back, the tarmac cracked and broke and crumbled away. just rose up and blinked in the bright of the day. And all the engines stopped and we got off the bus. The city stood and tethered and stared as a carnival of trees led the river through the streets to greet our dull morning faces that fine summer's day. The willow ran her fingers through the water, children cascaded down the banks, grass kissed we loved, forgot ourselves, rolled our jeans ankle deep. And it was all we could imagine, no mudded remembrance. The heron looked down from the branches above and watched how the eels made curves of the water, and you and I sat down on the edge, and we were all that we could be. Till time grew heavy of such joyful aching. The fish they flew, the river flowed upstream, and the sky grew ochre, terracotta and brown, and the sun and moon danced, and we could not stay. I could not stay. And the river went back, the banks rolled in, the heron left dethroned, all in as much time as it takes to make a short walk home. Cool, thank you. Did you ever hear tell of the young London waterman who at Blackfriars did regular ply? He feathered his oars with such skill and dexterity, taking the people from shore to shore. And he sang so sweet, he sang so merry, the couples all jostled to hire his wherry, and he became known as a true lover's wherry. But he could not find a true love of his own, till there came this young goose girl from Stratford St. Mary, and she wanted taking to Farringdon Fair, but she hadn't the halfpenny to pay for her wherry, so she stood on the steps in a pretty despair. And she sang so sweet, she sang so merry, he put her and all of her geese in his wherry, and her pretty face was the fare for the ferry, so he took her over to Farringdon Fair. Now they was married next May time in Stratford St. Mary, and then they had watermen 1, 2, 3, 4, and they all feather their oars with such skill and dexterity, taking the people from shore to shore. And they sing so sweet, they sing so merry. The couple still jostle to hire that wherry, and everyone goes by the Blackfriars Ferry, whilst he stays at home with a love of his own. Thank you. That was a little ditty, really, a song. Another one I learned from Peter Bellamy, actually, years ago, called The London Waterman. And I'm always a bit fascinated by how songs become folk songs, or where they travel afterwards. And that song was originally in a ballad opera by Charles Dibdin. And it kind of somehow entered the oral singing tradition, had some of the edges knocked off, and was collected from a man who was working on the canals, who was singing it himself. So I quite like the way it's kind of, yeah, almost been a bit cyclical there. Thanks. So yeah, I'll carry on with another song I wrote, I think. Some of these are songs I haven't yet really played out very much. But yeah, I think I've started with a few happy ones, so I feel less guilty about the rest of the set. And well, actually, maybe this song it's not totally an unhappy song. It's a song I wrote last year, and I think I was writing a few things about hope. I didn't really realise this at the time, but looking back, I think a lot of the things I was writing was about hope, which Amy was talking about earlier, actually, the Hope with Feathers, which was beautiful. And yeah, and I think for this song, I was thinking a bit about sometimes how hope is quite difficult, how sometimes it's not easy. You can't always see how everything's going to work out, but you have to hope anyway. And this song, yeah, I wrote it after reading an article about climate scientists, particularly ones in America, and how they obviously spend their days researching and seeing all this evidence and all these facts about how the climate emergency is kind of escalating. And they're also seeing how a lot of people in power aren't doing enough about it, and how they have to kind of hold all that, and then at the end of the day just go home and live their normal lives, and the kind of yeah, the kind of difficulty of some of that. So this is a song called The Scientist. The scientist sits in a tower, a bright domed tower, with her head in her hands. The lines on a screen, they are rising, a mountain, a cliff face. It's the steepest that she's ever seen. Her husband, he turns from the morning, drowsy sleeper, shields a light from his eyes, and the sun on his back, it is warming, each year warmer, drowsy sleeper. She turns the lines on her screen into circles, circles to bars and a chart just to try and find her way past. Turns the circles to crosses, crosses to dots, and she stares, tries to find hope there, find hope there. Her voice has grown thin from the telling, showing, explaining, warnings melting away. But her desk is a cradle of photos. Don't give up now, can't give up now. She turns the lines on her screen into circles, circles to bars and a chart just to try and find a way past. Turns the circles to crosses, crosses to dots, and she stares, tries to find hope there. How have we come to this? Her son in the playground is building tiny castles, molded buckets and sand. The wind blows, the turrets are crumbling. He's reshaping, tiny sculptor. He's rebuilding as they fall. She turns the lines on a screen into circles, circles to bars and a chart just to try and find a way past. Turns the circles to crosses, crosses to dots, and she stares, tries to find hope there. Turns the lines into circles, circles to bars and a chart just to try and find a way past. Turns the circles to crosses, crosses to dots, and she stares, tries to find hope there. Cool, thank you. Oh, is this strange doing a gig with no audience? Well, I hope there are some of you there. I hope there is an audience, but I can't see you. I'll carry on with a tune for you. This is a tune I wrote a couple of years ago, just on the cusp of autumn. It was just that kind of beautiful bit at the end of summer, where the light is kind of very warm and rich, and the leaves are just starting to turn and starting to fall. And I wrote this tune, and for a while I couldn't think of a name for it, and then a little bit after I was in a pub and there was a beer called Autumnus, and I was like, oh, that's a good name. So it's called Autumnus. Get on the right setting. Oh, thank you very much. So, I'll carry on with another song with you. Yeah, sing you a song. I usually sing in December. Not because it's a particular Christmas song, but I sing it with my band Lady Misery on our winter tour with Jimmy Aldridge and Sid Goldsmith. And it's a song called The Old Churchyard, and it's become a bit of a favourite in the last couple of years. And it comes from America. It was originally a hymn that kind of entered the folk tradition. It was collected from the singing of a woman called Almeda Riddle, which I think is just a fantastic name. And yeah, I really love singing it with a band, and it's such a pleasure to do it. And we're hoping this year we might be able to do a gig or two in December, but obviously it's very unknown. We've had a lot of bad luck actually with that band. I think the first year we did that tour, we all lost our voices at different points. And then last year we were all kind of gearing up and feeling hopeful. And then we toured the day after the election, so the mood was a little bit different to what we thought. And obviously this year's been a bit different as well. So fingers crossed that we might be able to do some gigs. But yes, I love singing this song with them. And I have a fantasy that one year we'll be able to sing it with a brass section. But we'll see what happens. But for now, I will sing it a cappella for you. Come, come with me to the old churchyard. I so well know those paths 'neath the soft green sward. Friends slumber in there that we want to regard. We will trace out their names in the old churchyard. Mourn not for them, for their trials are all. Oh, why weep for those who will weep no more? For sweet is their sleep, though cold and hard. Their pillows may be in the old churchyard. I know it seems vain when our friends depart to breathe kind words to a broken heart. And I know that the joy of life is marred when we follow lost friends to the old churchyard. But were I at rest 'neath yonder tree, oh, why would you weep, my friends, for me? I'm so weary, so wayworn, why would you retard the peace I seek in the old churchyard? Why weep for me, for I'm anxious to go to that haven of rest where no tears ever flow, and I fear not to enter that dark lonely ward, for soon I shall rise from the old churchyard. I rest in the hope that one bright day sunshine will burst through these prisons of clay, and old Gabriel's trumpet and the voice of the Lord will wake up the dead in the old churchyard. I rest in the hope that one bright day sunshine will burst through these prisons of clay, and old Gabriel's trumpet and the voice of the Lord will wake up the dead in the old churchyard. Oh, thank you. So this song's a little bit cheerier in some ways, not in others. This is a song I usually sing with my sister, called "I Wish the Wars Are All Over," and I remember, hearing this song maybe about 10, 12 years ago, and knowing that I wanted to sing it, and that I wanted to sing it with a concertina, which was part of the reason I learned the concertina, because I didn't play it very much at the time. And I often call this a non-political anti-war song, and I don't know anymore if that's such a thing, but it's the story of a woman who's been left behind when her lover has gone off to war. And this song has a lot of really beautiful kind of floral imagery and metaphors all the way through, and they're kind of often speaking about the wars and much more difficult things in that way. And when we sing this live, people sing along, so I'd love to think that maybe some of you will sing along from where you are, but I will never know. But I will imagine that maybe some of you are. That would be nice. So early one morning when pearly with dew, I saw a fair maiden pluck violets so blue, and the song that she sang made all the woods ring, while my love is in Flanders to fight for the king. And I wish that the wars were all over, and I wish that the wars were all done. I stepped up to her and made this reply. I said, my fair maiden, what makes you to cry? Well, my Billy's gone from me, I love him so dear, but the French, they will kill him, so great is my fear. And I wish that the wars were all over, and I wish that the wars were all done. I'll pluck these red roses, so fine and so gay, yet I have my own flower, but he's far away, and his jacket is red, like the robin's redbreast, but I fear that those bullets paint roses on his chest. And I wish that the wars were all over, and I wish that the wars were all done. 10,000 bluebells will welcome the spring, but when will those church bells for victory ring, and the soldiers come home, and the people rejoice, and then I'll be wed to the lad of my choice. And I wish that the wars were all over, and I wish that the wars were all done. Oh, I wish that the wars were all over, and I wish that the wars were all done. Thank you. Oh, thanks to Hilary who was singing along. That was nice. Oh, nice stuff. So I'll sing you a couple more. I'll sing you a song which I wrote for my band Lady Masery a few years ago now. It's a song called Order and Chaos, and I think I was thinking a lot of the time about how in folk songs we often use kind of folklore and magic or religion and to kind of help us understand things we might not otherwise be able to explain, obviously. But I'm quite interested in science, and particularly physics. And I think that as well as offering us kind of like facts and evidence, it can offer us beauty as well, and meaning. And I started to wonder about how that could fit into a song. So this is a song that resulted from that, called Order and Chaos. And yeah, it's a song about death and physics, really. And it was also inspired by Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials. And there's a particular paragraph in that inspired it particularly. If anyone knows the books well, you might know which one it is, in the third book. So this is Order and Chaos. Gather round, for time is turning. This part of my story is closing. As the hour draws near, I wonder, not fear at the journey that I will be taking. I might be in the beat of a wing, I might be in the rush of a river. But as year turns year, I'll always be here, through springtime to wintry weather. Lay me down, set me free. Oh, part of this world I'll still be. You'll not find me in order but chaos, as I follow the path that time makes us. I'll leave you the light from the sun, every beam that fell on my face. Photons and waves, the paths that we've changed, they have all left a mark on this place. And I'll leave you the warmth of my skin that flew to our soaring hearts. Nothing's lost, nothing's found, it all just moves round and keeps us from falling apart. Lay me down, set me free. Oh, part of this world I'll still be. You'll not find me in order but chaos, as I follow the path that time makes us. I'll leave you the stars in the sky, both our future and past yet to come. But as all things must turn back to dust, then a glint in the afternoon sun. We're all made from the same as the earth, and someday we'll roam it together. Particles gliding, dancing, colliding, will wander entangled forever. Lay me down, set me free. Oh, part of this world I'll still be. You'll not find me in order but chaos, as I follow the path that time makes us. Lay me down, set me free. Oh, part of this world I'll still be. You'll not find me in order but chaos, as I follow the path that time makes us. Cool. Thank you. So I think I've got time for one more song. But yeah, firstly, just to say thanks so much to Amy and Russ for their sets earlier. I loved watching them. Also, a big thanks to Graham, who's put this event on, and he does so much work normally putting on gigs in the folk scene and supporting everyone. So thanks again to Graham for that and for putting this on. And do I have any parish notices? Not sure about gigs, might be doing some at some point. We'll see what happens. Lady Maisie, we have a songbook which we have almost finished making. It should be sent off to be printed very soon. So it's got lots of the scores of our kind of 3-part harmony arrangements as well. It's got Order and Chaos and some other songs in it too. So if you like that kind of thing, keep an eye out. And I'll sing you one more song. I'll sing you a song I brought to a project a few years ago called Songs of Separation, which was actually 5 years ago now, I think. And it was 5 women from Scotland and 5 from England. And we came together for I think just under a week on the Isle of Egg. We spent 3 days making an album and 3 days recording it. And the theme was all songs to do with separation and unity. And it was just after the Scottish independence referendum. So there was kind of all those ideas floating around as well. And this is a song I brought along called London Lights. And I wanted to bring something that kind of reflected one from London. So it kind of reflected that a bit. But this song was originally a music hall song. But all the versions that survive of it were collected from traditional Scottish singers, and I kind of like the way this song had travelled around. And it's a story of a woman who's had a child out of wedlock and is left homeless, and the whole song takes place with the lights of London just gleaming in the distance. It's another chorus song. I used to sing this with 9 other women, so if anyone wants to sing along again, that would be nice. So thanks so much for listening and for staying, and I'll sing you one more song. See how those London lights are shining through the frost and falling snow. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. Oh, your mother's got nowhere to go. Oh, once a young man learned to love me, and he taught me to do the same. But now he's gone and left me, and on my brow there's written shame. See how those London lights are shining through the frost and falling snow. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. Oh, your mother's got nowhere to go. See how my sisters, they despise me, and my brothers do the same. And my father says he will not own me, and my mother hangs her head in shame. See how those London lights are shining through the frost and falling snow. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. Oh, your mother's got nowhere to go. Oh, mother, please forgive me. Take me in your arms once more. For although you've torn me from your bosom, oh, please don't turn me from your door. gift. Still they'll keep my baby warm. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. For our wandering days will soon be done. See how those London lights are shining through the frost and falling snow. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. Oh, your mother's gone, nowhere to go. Sleep on, my blue-eyed treasure. Oh, your mother's gone, nowhere to go. Thank you very much for coming along. And yeah, keep supporting these events. I think there's going to be some more. And have a good evening. Bye.